Any other old business this evening? Mrs. Ames?
Thank you, President Schultz. I've read and listened to all the information concerning the purchase of the AEP building. I understand and appreciate both points of view, and I know that everyone is sincere in their opinions. However, there's one point that was made by Ms. Taylor tonight that I'd like to address. She stated that, and I quote, "One might consider it disrespectful toward voters to move forward without bringing on newly elected leadership," end of quote. I'd like to offer a different perspective, giving 2 points. First, our outgoing council members, Mrs. Henderson and Mr. Bonner, have many years' experience on council. They are elected officials, elected by the citizens of Chillicothe. Ms. Taylor has addressed building history, but not people history, which is equally important. Mrs. Henderson and Mr. Bonner have worked with this issue for several years and know the history and possibilities for each side of this issue. I suggest that to say their experience and history should be disregarded is a demonstration of disrespect. Secondly, the current members of council have worked together on this for the past 2 years. We have discussed, dissected, disagreed, but we have worked together as a unit to do the best for the city. Aristotle said, "Criticism is something we can avoid by saying nothing, doing nothing, being nothing." To ask us not to make decisions is to ask us not to do the job we were elected to do. That would be true disrespect to our constituents and the city of Chillicothe. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mrs. Malone?
Thank you, President Schultz. I just wanted to address the statements that we have shelved the Hyatt Palma study and have done nothing about it. It's collecting dust. I highly disagree with that. We have done several of the things that they did suggest, and there are still things in the process of being discussed, looked at. I have worked closely with our city engineer as far as the entire workings of the downtown. Mr. Day has got some very good ideas. He's implemented a couple of them, but there's a lot more coming down the pipeline. We have upgraded our 3 municipal parking lots. They look extremely handsome. I've had comments. And I failed to mention this at the last meeting. I am the liaison to the First Capital District Board, and the First Capital District Board provides all of the banners downtown. A lot of people think the city provides those. They do not. The First Capital District has provided those, and they've come up with some very handsome banners for the new parking lots. We have appropriated money for the hanging baskets. Everyone felt that this would be a beautification, and that has happened. So there are a lot of things happening. Is everything done? Absolutely not. Is there a lot yet to do? Absolutely yes. But we have not shelved this Hyatt Palma study, and we're not sitting back saying, no, we're not going to do anything. There's a lot of conversation that goes on behind the scenes. Things don't happen overnight. Money isn't appropriated overnight. Plans need to be made. You need to talk things out. And as Mrs. Ames just said, there's been a lot of conversation about a lot of things. Maybe the public's not aware of every conversation that goes on, but we are working behind the scenes to beautify the downtown, to make it more accessible, the traffic pattern better, more parking, etc., etc., etc. Thank you.
Any other old business? Mr. Trutchell?
Thank you, President Schultz. I can't add anything to what's already been said. However, I've toured all these buildings downtown. I've looked 4 different buildings numerous times, and it's just like house hunting. You hunt for a house until you find one that fits your needs, as I talked to Gail today about this. And I know that this is a very passionate thing going on here, not only for this council, but for every person in this room. Now that the judges, who are our highest law in our city, recommended the AEP Friedman building, Not only that, we got a letter tonight from the Chamber of Commerce also suggesting that we purchase the AEP building. And as far as this council is concerned, I believe it's this council's responsibility and right to vote for this, not the next council, because every member here has been involved with this since at least the 2 years they've been in office, and years before they've been in office, at least 1 year. Most of us, I think, have been here for more than 4 years or close to it. But I believe the vote needs to be now, whether we vote yes or whether we vote no. Thank you.
Mrs. Lester?
I just have a brief comment that I would like to make, and I concur with Mrs. Evans. I don't think we can move forward until we take a vote on the AEP building. We have beaten this to death. Enough is enough. We vote regardless to your feelings. We need to vote and move on. And I agree, if the judges have the money, we shouldn't hold them up. I respect their decision, but I think we need to take a vote tonight and move forward with whatever the decision is of council. I feel that we are as qualified as anyone else that would come on council to do this. So why start over and beat it to death for 2 more years? Thank you, President Schultz.
Mr. Bonner?
Thank you, President Schultz. And the thing with, when you get with these issues in the AEP, and you see it so many times, all of us have been on council for many years, so many other things that really aren't relative are drug into this. So, we have to separate this, and so many good things have been said. I appreciate this. And just, looking at just the Friedman family and Mr. Evans, I think they've maybe taken some unnecessary criticism. These are 2 families that for a long time have been the pillar of our community, and it's not about them at all. And that's the reason why I don't enjoy being on the opposite end of this with the way everyone else is going. But you just, as we, I'm not going to rehash all the things that we've said before. The meeting with Ms. Henderson, what are the plans? They're not clear. Even at that meeting, I think there were some contradictory statements. But we're going to use this building. We're going to mothball this building. Now, what are we going to do with this building once the judges move? It's really not clear. I could see in my own mind the city slowly just kind of taking it over for outer space. Maybe the auditor over here. Maybe the other records. People talk about records. And I brought this up before. Soon, I'm hoping that we're not going to need all this room for records. I mean, we're keeping boxes and boxes of records. Soon, all of these records are going to be able to be kept on one disk. And so I think hopefully the record problem will be taken care of itself. As far as what's best for the city, everyone has to make their own mind up for this. We need something for the courts. We need something for the administrative building. I think, if we do it together, as I said all along, we're all in this together, the courts and the city. Let's work together. And if we have a total plan that came out separate, maybe that's the best thing. But I think this is the most economically sound to go in together. I think it would save the taxpayers money overall. And I just, I want what's best. We all want what's best for the city. I just think at this point in time that it is not the best move for the city. And I have to agree with one of the points that was made. And you can't just have a referendum vote for everything, and that's understandable. But truthfully, I think everyone on council would know, and I certainly feel, that if this was put to a vote, and I'm not saying it should be, but if it was put to a vote, I think it would fail overwhelmingly. Maybe not an 80-20 like some of these other votes, but it would be a 60-65% of the people saying no. So that's the way I'll end it, and I appreciate everybody. I respect everybody's opinions. I thank them for their time, and that concludes my report.